So this video is going to specifically look at your lunge, at your lower half of your body, at what's happening with your feet placement. Because if those aren't right, you're going to be fighting battles. Everything's going to feel much harder. So a basic lunge in squash, I'll show you from side on. We talk about having both legs at 90 degrees. So my front leg would be 90 degrees, my back leg would ideally be 90 degrees. So that is a nice framework to get into a lunge. But it's very variable as well. Like in a game of squash, it's going to be so random and moving around a lot. But if I'm moving to a ball, if I can get my lunge into that position there and into that position there, I've got a really great foundation to work from. And one key thing with that lunge is not being too wide. I see people throw out the lunge too early and they get into this position here where there's a huge gap, the knees are too open, the angle's too big, the gap's too big there. Very difficult to play your shot from there because I already felt off balance. I had to stabilize myself and there's no recoil. You can't get out of that shot. So the lunge is important for two factors: for the balance and control through the shot, but arguably more importantly for your recovery and your recoil back to a central position in the court. What links this really well is something called the back foot slide. So the back foot slide is a huge part of the game. So if I'm moving to a backhand side here, if you watch my feet, I'd be going, and as I hit that back leg, so it's the right leg on this side, it's like a little rudder. It's moving behind me. And again on the back, and if I move to that side there, it's a little rudder, it's a little movement. And you can see by the time I recoil, I've moved in, I've dragged my leg under. In essence, my feet are quite underneath my hips. That's a lovely position to be in. If I'm coming off the ball with my feet under my hips, I can really get out of that shot nicely. If my feet are way wider than my hips, I'm glued. It's like, man, that's a very hard movement to get into and to get out of. So that back foot slide is a thing I would get you to practice relatively early on. Just if you can get time to do some training, drop and drive. I'd get you to move in, back foot slide, and get that feeling of coming off. One other thing I want to talk about in the lunge, and specifically, is the timing of your lunge. And I like to talk about the lunge as having this floating front foot. So if I'm approaching a ball there's this connection, there's this float, and then hit. Float and hit. That, for me, is timing in squash. It's the relationship between your foot hitting the floor and your swing activating. So again, see if you can see the trigger point when the foot hits the floor and what happens to my swing. I'd be going there. So listen to it. There. It's like a doo-doo, doo-doo. As my foot hits the floor, my swing comes through quite soon after. Again, the timing would be there. One more. And really see if you can work on that element of the timing of your lunge. Massively, massively important. So there's a lot of elements there with the lunge, but for me, it's about having that foundation to work from. If you don't have that foundation in your lower half, if there's not that control in your lower half, there's a lot of compromises that will happen. And you'll see it. If you watch a game of squash at your club or at a low level, watch the feet. Have a look at the feet and see some of the flaws that will happen in it. At the pro level, they're doing it very well. So you can watch that pro level really, really good with it. And the last thing I want to talk about the lunge would be your positioning on the ball, getting side on. So in essence, side on is going to be a massive, massive thread throughout a lunge. Being side on generally is going to produce a straight shot. So if I'm side on to the ball here, that ball is there, that ball is going to disappear nice and straight. But I can be side on and also have the ball slightly higher up if I want to cross court, or I can have it further back if I want to boast. But having the side on position for the lunge is a fantastic framework to work from. You can't go very far wrong with your positioning of that lunge in that place. So have a think about what we've just talked about there. Maybe make some notes again because the information in there is a lot. See if you can be aware of what you're currently doing with your movement, and if you can start to get that idea of that correct lunge, that correct positioning, to be able to create efficiency and flow around the court.
Have you ever wondered what Jonah Barrington, Nick Matthew and Jonathan Power all have in common? They might all be world number ones, but they're also all coaches on SquashSkills.com. Now, SquashSkills is the online training platform that's designed to give amateur players the insight and knowledge to take their games to a whole different level. So if you've been struggling with your game, or you're stuck in a bit of a rut, or you're wondering how to improve, we've got you covered. With over 4,000 videos from some of the biggest names in the sport, as well as the ultimate training app, complete with every single squash exercise under the sun, we're there to take care of you and ensure that you can improve your squash no matter what your level. We're so confident that we can improve your understanding of the game that we'll even give you a 14-day money-back guaranteed if you're not completely satisfied. So if you're looking to take your game to a whole new level in 2024, be sure to check out SquashSkills.com today.